was a time when I knew exactly who I was. Or at least, I thought I did. I knew what I wanted. I knew what mattered to me. I knew where I was going. Maybe I wasn't always confident. Maybe I didn't have all the answers. But there was something solid underneath me. A sense of identity. A feeling that I understood my place in the world. Then life happened. Slowly. Quietly. One year became another. Responsibilities increased. People came and went. Dreams changed. Some succeeded, others disappeared. And somewhere along the way, something strange happened. I stopped recognizing myself. Not physically, not externally. Internally, the person I used to be started feeling like someone I once knew, a familiar stranger, someone I can remember, but no longer fully understand. And that realization scared me. Because losing your way is one thing. Losing your sense of who you are is something else entirely. At first, I thought it was temporary, a phase, a stressful period, something that would pass once life became easier. But it didn't. The feeling stayed. I would look at my life and realize that many of the decisions I made were based on habit, routine, obligation, expectation, not intention, not desire, not clarity. And I started wondering, when was the last time I actually asked myself what I wanted? Not what was practical, not what was expected, not what would make other people happy, what I wanted. The answer didn't come, and that frightened me more than I expected. Because I used to have answers. Now, I only had responsibilities. I think that's how identity slowly disappears. Not through one dramatic event, but through accumulation. You become what life requires. You adapt. You survive. You fulfill obligations. You solve problems. You keep moving. And eventually, you become so focused on managing life that you stop paying attention to yourself. Years pass, and one day, you wake up and realize you've been playing roles for so long, you can't remember who exists underneath them. The employee, the husband, the father, the provider, the friend, the dependable one, the strong one, the responsible one, role after role, mask after mask, until the line between who you are and what you do becomes impossible to see. And maybe that's the real fear. Not that you've changed, but that you've changed without noticing, without participating, without understanding how you got here. I remember looking at old photos once, not because I missed the past, because I missed the person in those photos. The energy, the curiosity, the ambition, the excitement, the belief that life was still unfolding. And for a moment, I wondered where that version of me had gone. Then another thought appeared. What if he never disappeared? What if he simply got buried? Buried beneath expectations, stress, responsibility, disappointment, years of focusing on what needed to be done instead of who I was becoming. That idea stayed with me. Because maybe identity isn't something we lose. Maybe it's something we stop listening to. A voice that becomes quieter every year. Not because it leaves, because other things become louder. Deadlines become louder. Responsibilities become louder. Fear becomes louder. And eventually, the voice that once guided you becomes difficult to hear. I think many people experience this, especially men, because we're often taught to focus on function, to solve, to provide, to perform, to endure. And while those things matter, they don't answer a deeper question. question. Who are you when you're not performing a role? Who are you when... Those questions are uncomfortable because they force you to look beyond achievement, beyond responsibility, beyond survival. And sometimes you discover that you've spent so much time becoming useful, you forgot to become yourself. That's a painful realization, but it's also an important one, because awareness is where reconstruction begins. You cannot reconnect with yourself if you never notice the distance. And maybe that's what this feeling really is. Not failure, not weakness, not a crisis. A signal. A signal that some part of you has been neglected for too long. A signal that the person inside has not disappeared, only been ignored. The older I get, the more I understand something. Identity is not a destination you reach once and keep forever. It's a relationship. A relationship with
honesty. If you neglect it long enough, disconnection appears. Not because the connection is gone, because it hasn't been maintained. Maybe that's why the question isn't, who am I? Maybe the better question is, when did I stop listening to myself? Because somewhere beneath all the noise, beneath the expectations, beneath the responsibilities, beneath the years of becoming what everyone needed, the real version of you is still there, waiting. Not to be reinvented, not to be created, only to be remembered. And maybe that's the beginning of finding yourself again. Not becoming someone new, but returning to someone you lost touch with a long time ago.